Morning guys. So I want to shoot another video. I'm kind of enjoying these videos now that I'm shooting without any sort of editing. It's a little bit more spontaneous, if you know what I'm saying. Now, the other day I posted a video on that idea of pushing yourself further and allowing yourself to suffer as long as you know that you are pushing towards something that is good and positive. And I use an expression that I use a lot, which is to use self-inflicted pain with a guaranteed positive outcome. Okay? That's something that I do myself, and I do that to myself. For example, when I go to the gym, that's self-inflicted pain that I know it's got a guaranteed positive outcome. Now, of course, these are all rules of thumb. Can I injure myself? Sure, right? I can be lifting weights and then suddenly my shoulder, I don't know, falls off my socket. It can happen. Those things happen. So the guaranteed positive outcome is a perception, is a projection even. It's you planning towards something that is positive. When you work really hard towards what you want to achieve, that's gonna hurt a little bit, and that should be okay. This is the problem. Most people feel that a little bit of pain and their survival instinct kicks in, and they don't allow themselves to process what that means, that reaction, that anxiety, that fear. And sometimes all it means is that, okay, you're exposing yourself to new levels of pain, but you have to analyze what that pain means and what it brings to you. Is it negative emotion? So are you just, drinking your way out of existence? Okay, that's self-inflicted pain with a guaranteed negative outcome. But are you working out every day, eating properly? Well, that's self-inflicted pain with a guaranteed positive outcome. And then someone commented, well, that's not necessarily true, because if you're doing that every day and you're pushing yourself every day, you might just burn out. Now, I'll probably post a video that I made a while ago on my own experience with burnout later today. But for now, I just want to say this. Having experienced burnout, and serious burnout, and I'm not trying to take value from anyone's burnout, but I was going through a very sort of difficult, complex phase in my life. This was fairly recently. I just had a son. The business, the Leeds Music Academy, was still Leeds Drum Academy at the time. We weren't doing very well financially. We were still a startup. We were struggling. Not that I'm doing great financially now, by the way, but it's getting there. It's getting there. But at the time it just felt like, it was too much weight to carry. So yeah, I gassed out. But here's what I learned as I recovered from it and I started to make choices and redefine priorities. I realized something very simple. Burnout doesn't come from working too hard. Burnout really comes from not working hard enough on what matters. So your brain starts to live this daily conflict between all the things that you're doing and you don't care for any of them. Now, that's nothing to do with my son, by the way, quite the opposite. I wasn't spending enough time with him. I wasn't spending enough time at home. I could be working from home. So I was making a bunch of those mistakes, and that eventually starts to, take its toll. Now, that idea of burnout, for example, can one burn out doing what one loves? Absolutely. That can happen. Again, I can't live my life according to exceptions, but I truly believe that as a rule, one burns out whenever we stop focusing on what matters to us, what feeds us, instead of focusing so much energy on what depletes us. Those are my thoughts on burnout. Focus on what matters to you. Try to make those decisions. It doesn't have to be every day. Perhaps you can't do it right now, but you can do something every day that feeds you, that feeds who you are, not just what you do. It feeds who you want to be in the future, not just how much money you have to make to pay the bills. I get it. That's part of the game. We are all playing that game. But treat yourself. And I don't mean that in a buy some candy way. I mean that as in Find the inside of you. What is the thing that really translates what being with a capital B is for you? What is being? If you look inside of yourself, what's your perfect self? What is he or she doing? Right, like what kind of food do you eat? This is your perfect self, the no flaw self. The life is just perfect self. What's going on in that guy's life? Now try to experience maybe 5% of that every day. Pick something. It's not going to be that difficult. Pick one thing and start to live a life that feeds and helps you be the person that you have to be, that you need to be, and unify what you do with who you are. And then, my friends, I'm working harder than ever, and I'm never ever tired. There you go. Good luck, fellas.